The new development bank was established by BRICS nations and serves as an alternative funding source for the global south. The bank's executives are in the country for the G20 Leaders Summit led by Ashwani Muto, Director General of the Independent Evaluation Office at the new development bank.
We'll be assessing the cooperation, the partnership, the investments over the past decade. And this requires a very comprehensive evaluation of the entire portfolio of projects, more than $5 billion we're talking about. And this will entail site visits, interaction with government institutions, private sector, stakeholders, academia, and others. NDB has funded a large part of projects in South Africa in energy. Our general strategy does prioritize also investments in other areas, including infrastructure, transport, digital infrastructure, natural resources and environment sustainability. So there are also other sectors, and we have a new Director General of our regional office here in Johannesburg for the NDB, and now she's looking at scaling up the pipeline of projects and portfolios.
South Africa was never supposed to become this powerful, at least not according to Western predictions. For decades, Europe believed it would always remain the center of global business, investment, innovation, and financial dominance. But something unexpected is happening, and it is happening faster than anyone anticipated. A global economic shift is unfolding, and South Africa is suddenly at the center of it. Europe is watching the world's money flow in a direction they never imagined, away from Brussels, Paris, Berlin, and London, and straight into Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban. Investors, companies, and entire industries are moving, and the world's financial elite are scrambling to understand what just happened. It all began quietly. A few companies shifted operations to South Africa because of energy access, better logistics, and lower costs. Then a few more followed. Then major corporations started testing small expansion projects. And then, suddenly, the dam broke. Billions of dollars of capital began pouring into South Africa. Manufacturing giants, mining corporations, tech startups, energy multinationals, and private equity firms all began making the same decision. Europe is too expensive, too unstable, too bureaucratic, and too slow. South Africa is rising, transforming, and opening its doors wider than ever before. What the world is witnessing is not just growth, it is a full-scale economic migration. And for Europe, this is nothing short of a geopolitical nightmare. Today's story begins on a morning that shocked European markets. Financial analysts woke up to a stunning report showing that South Africa had just overtaken several European nations in attracting foreign direct investment. Billions of dollars shifted within weeks. Major European banks reported sudden outflows. Investment funds downgraded their European portfolios. And the biggest shock of all, several iconic European corporations announced they were relocating key operations to South Africa. The news hit Europe like an earthquake, but here is the deeper truth. This shift didn't happen overnight. Investors had been quietly studying South Africa for years, and now they finally understand what the West refused to acknowledge. South Africa is not just rising, it is accelerating. It has the resources, the location, the infrastructure, the demographic advantage, the technology adoption, and the geopolitical positioning to become the new investment capital of the world. The global money has always followed one rule: go where the future is being built. And right now, that future is being built in Africa's southern powerhouse. Europe is panicking because South Africa has something. Europe has lost momentum. While European economies struggle with recession fears, aging populations, shrinking industries, high energy costs, and suffocating regulations, South Africa is doing the opposite. It is expanding manufacturing, modernizing transport, investing in renewable energy, upgrading ports, improving digital infrastructure, and opening new investment lanes with Asia, the Middle East, and North America. Investors love momentum, and South Africa is providing it in massive doses. But the biggest factor behind this massive global investment shift is simple: South Africa offers growth that Europe can no longer match. In Europe, industries are shrinking. In South Africa, they are multiplying. In Europe, companies are laying off. In South Africa, companies are hiring. In Europe, economic forecasts predict stagnation. In South Africa, economists see the beginning of a 20-year expansion cycle. This is why corporations from Germany, France, Italy, and the UK are building factories in South Africa instead of in Europe. This is why tech companies from the US, Canada, and Japan are opening headquarters in Johannesburg. This is why automotive giants are expanding plants in Pretoria rather than shifting them back to Europe. This is why global banks are opening African investment hubs in Cape Town. And this is why private equity firms are pouring billions into South African tech startups. Europe can't compete with this level of growth opportunity. And that is terrifying for its policymakers. Imagine the scene: European ministers sitting around polished mahogany tables, staring at red graphs diving downward, while South Africa's numbers shoot upward in green. They are watching foreign investment dry up as money flows into Africa's strongest economy. Panic meetings begin. Emergency reports are drafted. Analysts scramble to explain the phenomenon. But deep down, everyone understands what is happening. Europe is facing a competitor it never took seriously, and now that competitor is overtaking them. But why is South Africa attracting so much global investment? What changed? Several things, and each one is reshaping the global economy. First, South Africa solved problems Europe still can't. Energy security, cost efficiency, and industrial expansion are the foundations of economic growth. South Africa is building them, Europe is losing them. While European factories struggle with energy shortages and skyrocketing operational costs, South Africa is expanding energy capacity with new tech, new international partners, and improved infrastructure. For investors, the math is simple: build where energy is affordable and reliable. Second, South Africa is strategically located at the gateway of global trade routes. Europe used to dominate trade, but now global logistics are shifting southwards and eastwards. The Indian Ocean, the African coastlines, and the southern routes are where new trade opportunities are booming. South Africa sits at the heart of this new global map. Third, South Africa is attracting global investment by becoming a business-friendly environment. New agreements with BRICS countries, new global partnerships, and new trade deals have opened massive economic doors. Investors want access to growth markets, and South Africa offers access to 1.4 billion people across Africa. Europe simply can't match this. Fourth, South Africa is harnessing the power of its young workforce. Europe is aging rapidly. Retirement rates are outpacing youth employment. South Africa is the opposite. It has a large, young, ambitious population that global companies want to hire and train. This alone is worth billions. Fifth, Africa is the future of resources, and South Africa is one of the most resource-rich nations on Earth. Everything from gold to platinum, from rare minerals to energy resources, is in high demand. Europe cannot compete because Europe does not have the natural resources to drive the industries of tomorrow. And finally, investors see stability where they once saw uncertainty. South Africa is becoming a long-term hub for global investment, and companies want to be part of the next big wave. All these factors combined create the perfect storm for Europe and the perfect opportunity for South Africa. The global financial community is whispering the same conclusion. South Africa is becoming the investment capital of the world. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is not a prediction. This is happening right now. The numbers don't lie. Investor flows don't lie. Corporate relocations don't lie. Europe's panic doesn't lie. The shockwaves are spreading across the world. European leaders are rushing to propose new policies to keep companies from leaving. Investors are demanding Europe lower its tax burdens. Economists are calling it a massive red alert. And yet, nothing is stopping the wave. The most surprising part, even American companies are joining the movement. Instead of building in Europe, they are choosing South Africa as their launchpad into global markets. US tech giants, logistics firms, financial institutions, and manufacturers are quietly shifting tens of thousands of jobs to South Africa. They don't want to say it too loudly, because it exposes Europe's weakness, but their actions speak louder than any press release. Meanwhile, South Africa's major cities are transforming into new global hubs. Johannesburg is becoming the financial engine of the continent. Cape Town is rising as Africa's Silicon Valley. Durban is expanding its ports faster than most Western cities. The transformation is visible on every street, every skyline, every industrial zone. Investors feel something that Europe hasn't felt in a long time: hope, optimism, momentum, growth, and when global investors smell opportunity, they move fast. Europe is left watching the shift with disbelief. This was not supposed to happen. The West predicted South Africa would struggle forever. They underestimated African innovation, resilience, entrepreneurship, and strategic thinking. They were wrong. South Africa is not only rising, it is becoming the center of a new global economic era. The surge of investment is not a bubble. It is not temporary. It is structural. Everything is changing: trade routes, supply chains, global power balances, and investment priorities. Economists are calling this the biggest financial realignment since the early 2000s. And the most ironic part, Europe helped create this shift by pushing businesses away with regulations, high energy prices, and slow bureaucracies. Now the economic world has found a new home, and it's in South Africa. The most powerful industries of the future: energy, logistics, mining, technology, renewable power, digital finance, manufacturing are finding their new base of operations in Africa's southern titan. Every new deal, every new investment, every new expansion sends another shock through Europe's financial markets. They are losing their grip on global influence as South Africa gains it. And this is only the beginning. The world is entering a new chapter, one where South Africa is no longer a background player, but a major force shaping global economics, trade, and investment. Europe can panic all at once, but the shift is already happening. Global investors are not waiting for permission. They are not waiting for Europe to fix itself. They are going where the future is brightest. And right now, that future is shining over South Africa. The rise of South Africa represents more than just investment. It represents a global power shift that will shape the next 50 years. The world is changing. The centers of influence are changing. And South Africa is leading the way into a new era of opportunity, ambition, and economic transformation. Europe never expected this, but the world is watching it unfold in real time.